Fayetteville Broncos. And, Coach, first question I want to ask you is, what did you expect coming in, and what did you get in return from the team tonight?
Well, you know, I was expecting a win, and we got that, but I wasn't expecting all of the turnovers and the miscues. You know, we had 7 turnovers in the first half and lost 5 of them. And out of the 7 turnovers that we had, we were in scoring territory in all of them. And so, you know, really we're going to go back, you know, and work on our concentration and work on our guys holding the football. I think we didn't do a lot of hitting in the last week, and the concentration level might have been a little low, and, you know, we caught the ball up. But, you know, I want to congratulate our coaches and our players for fine effort, because Fayetteville came in with a good football team, and we just didn't. I think if we had taken advantage of our opportunities early, we would have been in great shape. We would have taken them out of the ball game. But the longer we stayed in, the more turnovers we made, you know, just really devastated us. We had 249 total yards in the first half. We had 181 yards passing. We had 68 yards rushing. And as you can see from that, we were trying to run against an 8-man front. And I thought Richard did a good job of throwing the football. His first, you know, 4-year college game. He's been a junior college at Sharp. Did an outstanding job of catching the ball. But take away the fumbles and everything else, you know, we've still been in the ball game. But I want to give our defense and our defensive coaches, you know, a pat on the back, because they hung in there. That's the type of effort that we need from our defense. You know, when we couldn't score, we kept them off the board. And we were really never in any danger. You know, the score was 9-6, but we were never in any danger when they scored late, because they would have had to score 2 points plus a field goal in order to beat us. But, you know, our kids played real well, and I'm proud of them.
Okay, Coach, a couple of bright spots tonight. You saw Shannon Sharp deliver as his usual performance, I guess you would say. He was a bright spot.
Well, Shannon was a very positive player, you know, and all of our players are positive. And the thing that I like about them, you know, them the most is the fact that they hung in there. And, you know, we had a new offensive coordinator. It took them a while to get adjusted to the system. The option is a high-risk offense. You know, you're gonna have some turnovers. You're gonna have some stops. You're gonna have some losses. But after a while, you're gonna break one. And we did a couple of times on the option, you know, break a couple of them. And our kids just hung in there and played real good football. We're a long ways from being a good football team. But a win like this will help our attitude and help, you know, our overall program, because, as I said, we had a lot of new players, not young players, a lot of new players, and we had to kind of gel. And right now we're in the, you know, process of gelling, and this win is going to help us greatly.
So, Coach, an impressive performance tonight, but what we want to do is get you to tell us a little bit about what the people can expect to see when we come back from this commercial and the highlights of tonight's game.
Well, I think they're going to see an exciting brand of football. They're going to see a lot of, we came out with a 2-minute offense, opened the ball game, no huddle. Our defense was really getting after people, and this is something that I'm happy to see, because, you know, in the last few years we hadn't been getting after people, but we were getting after them. We made some good hits out there tonight.
Okay, you're going to see it all right here after this commercial break, and we'll be back with the highlights of the first half. Was exciting.
Well, you know, we wanted to do something different to try and not let them set up to keep blitzing. And Basil throws out here to Sharp, who does a good job of running with the football after he catches it. We come out again, he dumped pass here to Frederick Hawkins. But he did a pretty good job of getting up there. And Frederick had a pretty good night, but here again we were plagued by turnovers. And this is Basil scrambling out of the pocket for a first down. You know, I wish he'd get out of bounds and instead of taking those kind of licks. But he did a good job of moving the football team.
And here's Shannon Sharp.
Sharp does a good job here of eluding the tackler and getting a first down. And he's the kind of ball player that can take a short pass into a long run. And this is Hawkins again. And he caught the ball. If he got a good hit there, that's not a fumble of lack of concentration. He took a good shot in the back and coughed it up. And Fayetteville got the ball. We're on defense. You can see our defense there with Damon Johnson, Norman McGathy, swarming the ball carrier.
And the defense set the tone here early, because it was a defensive night for the Tigers.
Well, one of the things that our defense is doing now, we're attacking the football more than waiting on it as we have in the past. And you can see this is one of Fayetteville's favorite plays, the counter, wing-back counter.
They ran that counter action a lot last night. But you mentioned the defense. Coach Crosby always sends a team out that at least he likes to attack, and it looks like they're reflecting his strategy.
Well, one of the things in Coach Crosby's defensive scheme and philosophy is, you know, to attack the football. And last year we had a lot of young linebackers, and we only returning Norman McGathy, basically. Here we all side motion, and we couldn't get things going. And this is going to be a great play by Kenny Brown from Savannah. You can see how he's carrying that football. And that guy came along and did just what a good defensive player should do, and that's hit Kenny's arm. Now, what happened on this play here is that once the ball is fumbled in college football, you cannot advance it.
That's right.
And that's what happened.
That's right.
And they're going to get the football back, but we were hoping that the refs might have made a mistake, but they didn't.
Yeah, that was...
Paul Stevenson, their quarterback, going back, throwing. And this guy here can cover. Eric Brown from Savannah, a senior. He's probably the best one-on-one coverage man in our conference, and probably Division II football.
And you said he's probably going to get some looks from the pros, too, you think?
Well, I feel that he deserves it because he's a good football player, has a good feel for the game. Here we make a bad pitch. Basil didn't see the tailback that he's pitching the ball to and hesitating, and we fumbled. And this is a good play here by Darryl McCormick, a junior college transfer from Madison, Illinois.
Got a clip on Fayetteville here.
Got a clip, and we're going to move them back, and they come out here with their favorite play. This young man here is a fine runner for Fayetteville, and you can see Weston McGriff missing that tackle there, and that comes up Eric Brown, and Darryl McCormick is chasing.
He sort of reminds you of O.J. with those low socks.
He does.
He runs his style.
Here he come back again. They running that wing back count, and we went upfield too far. We got a lot of penetration. Coach Crosby all night was telling the group, not to penetrate, just stay along the line so you can look for it coming back to you. That's Mike Wallace of Effingham County making that tackling.
And that was the fourth down. They failed to do anything, so you took over.
Right. We played good defense that night, last night. Basil goes out here to Sharp. You can see Sharp carrying that ball kind of loosely, but he dives for first down.
He lunged forward. I show this again because he lunged forward, and it was a real headsy play by Shannon.
Well, that's the kind of ball player Shannon is. He's one of those ball players that, when the job is on the line, he's going to get it done. This is Western Vineyard trying to get outside. What they were doing against us, and they were penetrating a lot. They were, Basil picked this in the crowd to Hawkins, but they were playing us basically an 8-man front and sending all 3 linebackers, and we only had 5 blockers, so it looked like our offensive line was not doing a good job. But they were containing the 5 people, but they were sending 8, and it was impossible for 5 to block 8, simple arithmetic there. Their receiver falls down, he gets up, and we still got good special team play last night.
And here's the fumble, and we take over.
Well, it looked like it was give and take, and I don't want it. Basil comes out, hands the ball to Edward Ford, and you see Ford carrying the ball loosely there, and there goes the fumble. We're going to work on those fumbles because those are coaching things that we can instill in our young people. And as Coach McNeil, Darryl McNeil, who's our offensive coordinator.
There's Mike Wallace with his first of the night.
Told our ball club at halftime, told the offensive players at halftime, remember when you had a football, you had the game in your hand.
That's right.
And this is Dwayne Nash from Waterloo, Iowa, getting outside, doing a good job. Here comes Dwayne again. We just moved Dwayne to the running back position from defensive back. He had worked out in preseason at defensive back. And we moved him to running back, and we see a bright future there, for Dwayne.
And Edwin went off tackle there and got stacked up, and then here comes
Basil again dumping off to, we did more dump passes last night to our running backs than we have in quite some time.
And it looked good, though. That's something you caught Fayetteville off guard a lot of times, and you picked up some good yardage, first downs. Of course, you failed that time and had to punt, but the dump pass did look good.
Right. Well, what happened in a lot of those situations, Mark, when they're sending linebackers, they're playing man coverage in the secondary, and it's nobody to take the backside of the backfield because the linebackers are supposed to pick up the backs, and they couldn't do that. Now, this is Basil again, running to his left and throwing. We come again with Nash. We're trying to get outside. We're trying to run away from the blitz, but they do a good job of pursuing. And this is Randy Pitts. Randy going to come on. Randy's from Savannah. He comes on and kicks the field goal. Attempts the field goal. It falls short. But with the 5-yard penalty that we got, would have maybe made up for the difference. So we're huddling up here.
They took over and couldn't do anything.
We were trying to get a punt block set up here because they had a long ways to go, and we couldn't get anything going on the punt block, and we're going to take over at this point. We go back to our shotgun, a 2-minute offense, so to speak. And this is a beautiful pass here. Shannon just does get 1 foot inbound, and that's a great play there by Sharp.
And that's the college rule is he's got 1 foot inbound,
and I thought Shannon did a good job.
Great shot, great catch by Shannon there, over his shoulder.
Basil come back again and dumps it off to Hawkins. I thought old Frederick should have stayed outside, but he saw better and moved the ball down the field. Basil comes back again. This is the same play here where he dumps it off. You see the block there by the shield block by Sharp.
Now you go out here to the left.
All right, Basil comes off. He drops us off to one of our few freshmen. That's Marcus Staten from Charlotte, North Carolina. Staten does a good job of hanging on to it. And just he pushed the ball, a touch on the football here, and I thought Sharp had almost dropped it. You can see his celebration and jubilation.
And we had a nice crowd on hand, as you're going to see
Well,
for the first game.
It was
For the
pretty
school
good.
not being in. Of course, we always like it to be better, but it was pretty good for school not being in.
This is the same play again where Basil just puts a little touch on it to Sharp on an out route, and you can see we're going to have a mad scramble here. The mad scramble. And
this is going to end the first half.
well, that's the way it goes out, Mark. We 6-0.